Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a child's pose position. Bring your big toes together, open your knees wide, and stretch your fingertips out long in front of you. In this first child's pose, start to bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. With every inhale, think of filling the space between your shoulder blades and into your lower back. And with every exhale, pull your hips closer towards your heels and stretch your fingertips further away from your body. Maybe feel like your breath could get a little bit longer in each direction. We're going to transition this into a puppy dog pose. Bring your gaze forward and start to crawl your fingers forward. Bring your chest down and lift your hips up. Now you can bring your gaze forward, or if it's more comfortable, you can bring your forehead down to the ground. This puppy dog pose is a little bit deeper opener for your armpits, your shoulders, and your chest. Really just let your hips be up into the air. And now keep your hips up, but walk your fingertips over towards the right corner of your mat. So really stretch your left fingertips away from your left hip. Breathe into this length and space that you're creating. And then switch. Move your fingertips over towards the left diagonal of your mat and send your hips over towards the right. Breathe into that space all along the right side of your torso. Take a nice big breath in. And then slowly come back to center and move to all fours. Bring your shoulders right over your wrists, your hips over your knees. And then start to draw some circles with your whole body. So send your hips over to the right, swoop them around towards your heels, and then bring them over towards the left. And we take about 3 to 5 circles moving in this direction, just starting to feel a little more opening into your outer hips on both sides. And then start to take this the opposite way. If you're going slow, maybe give yourself about 3. If you're going quicker, maybe you can take about 5 circles. Continue to actively press down into your palms and really send your hips over to the side in each direction. Draw full big circles. Bring yourself back to neutral tabletop, flip your toes under, and lift your knees up off the ground. We're going to come into a little bit of arm activation. With your knees lifted, bend your elbows back just like an inch so your knees tap down to the ground, and then press yourself up. And take this about 8 times. Every single time, just feel your knees very gently tap down to the ground. Elbows bend just like 2 or 3 inches, getting a little more activation into the triceps, into the shoulders and chest. And then after you've taken this 8 times, take one moment just to hover your knees over the ground, grow nice and tall through the crown of your head, and then gently lower your knees down and come all the way down onto your belly, however you need to come down to your belly. We move into a Sphinx pose. Bring your forearms and your palms so they're flat to the ground, and lift your chest and your heart up. So you can actively press down into your palms and think of your elbows pulling back towards your hips. Feel this nice opening into your chest and just a little bit of a stretch for your back, very gentle. Give yourself one more big breath here. And then slowly release yourself down onto the ground. Give yourself a moment of rest with your head rested on your hands like a pillow. We're going to come into that Sphinx pose again, but we're going to add in an element of core activation by moving to a forearm plank. So bring yourself back once again to your Sphinx pose. Find this, elbows pressed down into the ground. Now flip your toes and lift only your hips up off the ground. Press into your forearms so much, and then keep it going. Lift your knees and hover for 3, 2, and 1. Gently lower your knees and lower your hips down back into Sphinx. And we're going to continue to take that. Press into your arms, lift your hips, lift your knees and hover for 3, 2, and 1. Lower your knees down to the ground, lower your hips, move back to Sphinx, chest is forward. Do it again. Press into your forearms, lift your hips, and then lift your knees. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. Lower your knees to your mat, lower your hips, lift your chest up. Good, and we take this again. Press into your elbows, lift your hips, knit your abs in, lift your knees, hover for 3, for 2, and 1. Soften your knees down with control. Lower your hips, lift your chest, Sphinx pose. This is the last one. Press into your elbows, lift your hips, and then lift your knees. Hold for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently lower your knees down to the ground. Lower your hips down to the mat. Find one more moment in Sphinx pose. And then release yourself down. Press into your hands. Press yourself back to your child's pose. You can bring your knees a little bit closer together this time, just to maybe get a deeper stretch through the lower back. Breathe into your child's pose. Take a nice big breath in. And a full exhale. Slowly start to roll yourself up to all fours. And flip your toes and move to downward facing dog. Press into your hands, press into your feet. Give yourself a few moments in this first downward facing dog. If you'd like to pedal through your knees just to find an extra little calf stretch. And then find a neutral downward facing dog. Lift both of your heels and roll your heels over towards the right. And now really feel your left palm press down into the mat. Breathe into this space. Now from here, try to pull your right knee to your right triceps. You're coming kind of the outer edge of your left foot. And now take your right leg up and over for 3-legged dog, just bending into your right knee. And now take your right knee and step your right foot all the way outside of your right hand. So you're in kind of this wider variation of a low lunge. Keep your left hand down, reach your right arm up for your low lunge twist. Pull your right hip back, stretch your right fingertips up towards your ceiling, and just breathe here. And now bring your right hand down to the ground. Step your left foot forward so you're coming into a squat. Send your hips down, bring your hands to heart center, and open through your chest. Now if your hips can't come all the way down, that's okay. You can have your hips kind of lifted here. Just make sure that your knees are tracking right over your toes. You're nice and open through the chest. Power down into your feet, stand all the way up, and then step or hop your feet together. Reach your arms straight up overhead and find a little back bend. Lift your chest up towards your ceiling. Open your arms, interlace your fingers at the base of your spine. Punch your fist down, lift the heart open. Exhale, bend your knees, forward fold, release yourself down. You can separate your feet a little bit if they're not separated already. Roll your right shoulder over towards your right thigh and try to peel your left shoulder open towards the ceiling. And now switch, bring your left shoulder down towards your left thigh and peel your right shoulder up towards your ceiling. Bring yourself to center, release your arms, step your feet back to high plank, lower your knees to tabletop. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. We take this little push-up series again. Lift your knees up off the ground, hover, and start to bend and press your elbows straight. We take about 10 of these small little bends of the elbows just to tap your knees down just for a moment. Find strength here, find length through the back of your neck. Feel your abdominals knitted together. And then after your 10th, hold just for a moment at the top. And then lower your knees down and come all the way down onto your belly. We're gonna do a little more back strengthening here. Bring your feet so they're flat, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, pull your elbows back, and find a baby cobra with little to no weight in the hands. And then lower your head down. We take this about 5 times total, just to start to find a little more activation through the upper back. Pull your elbows back, pull your shoulder blades together. Feel that length through the back of your neck and that length out of the crown of your head. Continue to press the tops of your feet into the ground. And think of your spine almost like a wave here as you go up and down. Again, little to no weight in the hands. And after your 5th set, press yourself back up and into your child's pose. Maybe pull your knees together again just to find a nice deeper stretch through your lower spine. Take a full big breath in. And on your exhale, transition yourself back to downward facing dog, however you need to get there. We're gonna set everything up on our second side. On your inhale, lift your heels up, and then roll your heels over towards the left. Really actively press down into your right hand. We're coming to our little bit of core work here. Press down into your right foot and pull your left knee towards your left tricep. It's a little bit funky, kind of a tilted side plank. Press into your right foot. Now rotate your right foot, lift your left knee, and open through the hip. Continue to press down evenly through both of your hands. And now step your left foot outside of your left hand. Takes a lot of core control. Find the twist. Keep your right hand down, reach your left arm up towards your ceiling. Rotate your heart space open. Energize through your back right heel. Just breathe here. And now bring your left hand back down to your mat. Step your right foot forward, move back into your squat position. Hips can be low, hips could be a little bit higher. Bring the palms together, try to press your elbows into your knees to encourage them out to the side. Find a nice wide space through your lower back. Power down into your feet, stand all the way up, lift your arms up, and step or hop your feet so they come together. Reach your arms up overhead, find your back bend here, lift your chest. Stand back up, open the arms, interlace your fingers, maybe try to bring the opposite thumb on top. Punch the fist down, lift your heart open, and exhale, forward fold. And then from here, separate your feet about hips width distance. We're gonna set up that side shoulder stretch once again. So with your bind, roll your right shoulder over towards your right thigh and try to peel your left shoulder open towards your ceiling. Maintain a bend through both of your knees. Breathe here. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring your left shoulder over towards your left thigh and try to peel your right shoulder open towards the ceiling. Maintain a soft bend with your knees. Bring yourself back to center. Release your hands and step back to a downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, lift your right leg up high. And now pull your right knee to your left tricep. So bring it across your body. Now press into your hands, extend your right leg. So you're really kind of kickstanded onto the outer edge of your right foot. So we start to feel a lot of activation in the shoulders, but we can also feel a really nice stretch into your outer right thigh, that IT band. Option to stay here, or you can roll yourself onto your right hand and then try to lift your right foot up off the ground. This takes a lot of strength here. Press into your bottom right hand. Three-legged dog. Stretch your right leg up into the air. Bend your right knee, open your hip. And now step your right foot once again, so it comes outside of your right hand. Keep your left hand down, reach your right arm up. Now option to stay here in kind of a modified side plank with your right foot down, or you could stack your right ankle on top of your left, or you can float your right foot up off of the ground. Press down into your bottom hand, reach your right fingertips up towards your ceiling. Come back to your high plank and move back to downward facing dog. And we set everything up on your left side. On your inhale, lift your left leg up towards your ceiling. And now pull your left knee towards your right tricep. Bring it across. And then extend your legs so you're on the outer edge of your left foot. Actively press into both of your hands. Try to keep your shoulder points pointing down towards your mat. Now option to stay right here, or you can bring your right hand to your right hip, roll to your left palm, and then adding on, if you'd like, you could try to lift your left foot up off the ground. Really press down into your right foot and your left hand. And then from here, move yourself into your three-legged dog. Stretch your left leg up and then bend your knee and open your hip. And then slowly, gently step your left foot outside of your left hand. And we're gonna move into your side plank once again. Keep the right hand down, start to heel toe your left foot back. Option to stay in a modification. Option to find your side plank, or option to lift your top leg away from your bottom leg. Find the variation that works for you. It's meant to be challenging. Press down into your bottom hand. Give yourself one more breath. Move back to high plank. And from your high plank, lower all the way down onto your belly. Flip to the tops of your feet and find your Sphinx pose once again. Pull the elbows back, stretch the heart space forward. Press down into your elbows, press down into your palms. Option to stay here, or option to press down into your palms so much that your elbows lift up off the ground. Just getting a little bit deeper into your back bend. Breathe into this opening. And then wherever you are, slowly bend your elbows and bring yourself back down and come onto your back. Bring your feet about hips width distance, bend your knees. Move into your bridge pose, press your hips up off the ground. And without moving your feet, feel like you could pull your heels a little bit closer towards your shoulders. Actively press down through the feet to lift your hips up and make sure your knees are truly tracking right over your toes. Give yourself one more breath and gently lower your hips down to the mat. Take a moment and just let your hips be heavy to the ground. Separate your feet a little bit wider and start to take some little windshield wipers side to side. Take this as quickly or slowly as feels good in your body. Just a nice little release for your lower back. Nice and heavy through the hips, heavy through your knees. And then start to pull yourself to center. Pull your knees in towards your chest and bring your forehead up to your knees. Make a tiny little ball. And then extend your legs long and heavy in front of you for a final meditation. Allow your eyes to close and bring your focus to your breath. Notice any shifts that you might feel, maybe physically, maybe mentally. And just let yourself sink a little deeper into your breath. Thank you for joining us. And that's your flow.